Welcome back everybody to Hayes Tech and ROM Reviews. Today we are going to go over a ROM, and this is for a device that I don't own. Thank you Bob is on for sending us the OnePlus 5T that we have here in front of us. This is the donor device, and we are looking at the ROM MSM Extended. And man, is this a freaking crazy ass ROM, guys. You want to talk about having the shit? This ROM's got the shit in aces. Anyways, I don't want to kind of spoil it for you. As soon as we come back, we're going to go ahead and jump into the settings, and I'm going to show you guys what this thing's made. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe. You hit that notification icon to get a notification of my videos as soon as they're released. That way you don't miss anything. Talking about MSM Extended, this is one hell of a custom ROM, guys. If you are into ROMs that have over-the-top features, this is definitely the ROM for you. The ROM that comes most to mind to me when I think about custom ROMs that have completely over-the-top as far as features go is Cyanide, Resurrection Remix, CR Droid, and again, those are some of my most favorite ROMs. I love them, and before we go any further, what I want to do is I want to bring up the gallery and I want to show you what it looks like when you first flash this ROM. These are the apps you're going to get. Now that is if you flash this ROM according to the instructions on the XDA thread, and that is to flash the ROM, flash Nano, open gaps, and if you do that, you're going to get this. Also, I flashed Magisk version 19.1. It seems to be working fine with this. I have no problems at all with it, but I wanted you guys to see that. Now, I am running Nova Launcher, and again, it's just because I don't like a stock launcher. I like one that I can add my own custom flair to. So if I want to run custom icons, I can. The time that I've been running it so far, I am very impressed with the features and the stability. Now also, if you notice in my status bar, you're going to notice I have data, and it's only 3G. It's not LTE or 4G, but I am able to make phone calls, send texts, everything. So the phone's working 100% for me, and I'm on Verizon. The OnePlus 5T is not supposed to work on Verizon. I was completely blown away with that, but we'll get into that more later. But right now, let's go ahead and get into this ROM. I'm sure you guys are dying to see what's in this. So we're going to go ahead and go into settings, and we're going to go to About Phone, and I'm going to show you guys first off. It says About Extended. You click on that. It's going to show you all their links to go to. I highly recommend you guys go check all these links out. And if you guys are going to run this as a daily driver, which I highly recommend, think about giving a little donation to the developers, because I mean they go out of their way to do this for you for nothing. I'll get off my soapbox now and get back to it. Extended updates, you click on that, that'll show you any of the updates that are there. You can click on changelog, device name, emergency information, phone number, and notice I'm in slot 2. That may be the reason why it picked my SIM up for me. I don't know. Kernel, I'm running the supplied kernel on this. This is Android version 9. or Pi, as you guys can see, and also we're running SE Linux Permissive. We're going to go ahead and go right into the extensions right now, and the first up is OnePlus shit. Yeah, something else I wanted to get out of the way quickly is I am almost at that 2,000 subscriber point, and man, I can't thank you guys enough for that. When we do hit the 2,000 point, I am going to have another giveaway. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be something, so look for that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into OnePlus shit. The first thing up is Shitty Slider. This is the button on the top left side of the device. It's just like Apple has. OnePlus has decided to put a switch where you can switch your notifications. Thank God they do. I love that. I think every device should have that on it. I love it, and I use it. I use it constantly. But you can change that around for whatever you want. You can use that button for notifications, flashlights, brightness, rotation, ringer, notifications and ringer, and of course caffeine. You can select what you want the different positions to do. Next up is OnePlus gestures. Now these are the gestures that are inherent to OnePlus and no other device. This is where you can change those gestures up. Right now I'm leaving everything exactly the way it is, but you guys can change that. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but it does give you an idea of what you can do. So let's go ahead and go back. And then of course you have your vibrator strength, you have graphics. Now you want to be careful with this. It does have KCAL or KCAL. For those of you that run any custom kernels, you may know what this is. It's basically allowing you to change up the colors on your phone. Now, I found that leaving it just the way it is perfect. Now, I did enable KCAL once, and when I did, I noticed that the pictures I was taking, I thought there was something wrong with the camera. Because when I would look at the photographs after I was done taking them, they looked like shit. And I couldn't figure out why. When I would put it on my laptop to do some editing, then I would notice that, you know, the pictures actually looked pretty damn good. So I went back in here and I disabled that, and then I started taking pictures. And then when I went to look at them after I take the pictures, they looked perfect. So just be aware of that, guys. If you want to run with that, you might want to set that up. Use some of the presets down below. It might help you out quite a bit on that. Next up are panel modes. Again, I'm running with off on this, but you can go with RGB, wide color gamut, night mode, or OnePlus mode if you want. I'm running with it off. I think the colors are brilliant on this phone. If you can't tell by now, you should be able to tell that I really freaking like this phone. I can see one of these in my future very soon, if I can afford it. Let's see, next up is going to be animations. Now, if you guys follow me at all, you know I do not use a lot of animations, if any at all, but they're there if you want to use them. You know, good on you, go through there and have at it. The only animations I really use are the power menu animation, and I use the rotate, and I'll show you what that looks like. So if I hit the power menu, you can see it rolled up. That's the only animation I really use, except for the quick tile animations. Now I am running rotate, fast, and linear. Underneath that you have your toast animations, and then of course your list view animations. If you want to change that. Oops, I clicked that one too many times. Okay, next up is going to be buttons. Now this is of course your physical buttons, and the only button or the only setting that they have in here are for the volume buttons. And of course, I don't use any of that. Now, I do want to get rid of the safe headset volume. Yes, I think that's one of the first things that everybody does, and you can only do that with a custom ROM. Again, the rest of this is just for setting up your volume buttons. If you guys want to do that, that's what it's there for. Again, I don't mess with that. The only thing I use my volume buttons for are to raise and lower the volume of the phone. Okay, the next one, and I think this is a pretty good one, is the decor room, or basically the device theme. This device comes with a lot of themes on it, and of course you noticed I was running with a theme. It's called Clear Extended, which is a red and clear theme, and they're awesome, guys. These are all the different themes that come preset that you can choose from. I just don't theme anymore, and it's so nice to see a ROM with, you know, some really good themes built right in, that all you got to do is hit it and go, and you know you're not going to have any issues. I just love it. For those of you out there that do not like looking at, you know, themed devices when I do a review, I'm going to go ahead and go to the default. That way you guys can see what this looks like as flat. Okay, so there we go. But I really wanted to show you guys that this is, you know, just an outstanding thing that was put in by them, and you know, I'm just so glad that they did it. Okay, dashboard icons are next. You know, you can change the settings of your icons. Of course, I'm going with round. Quick settings tiles. Right now I have it on dual tone circle, so that basically gives you a little ring around each one of them. You could go with just, you know, as flashed if you want it, but they just have a plethora of different ones to choose from. I'm going to go back to default, just so, again, this has the whole default look to it. After that you have QS header style. I just have black right now, but you have gray, light gray, accent based, and transparent. By the way, guys, this is going to be a long video. There are so many custom features in this ROM. The video has to be long in order for me to go over every one, and you guys know I don't skip over anything. So grab a beer, grab some popcorn, grab a soda, whatever you drink and eat, you know, and snack on, sit back. This is going to be a feature-length video. Alright, next up is QS header. I do have that enabled because I love headers. I love that they actually got headers to work on this. Header provider, you could go with image collection, which is based on the device itself, or you know, you could go with an image collection, or you could go with a single image. I have image collection chosen. and under header image collection I have frogs chosen. So if you look at the top, my header, you can see the frogs collection in there. You could go with anything. I love Gravity Falls, and I'm not going to go through every one of these, but one of the things I do want to mention about the headers is a lot of these, especially the ones I'm using from Frankie T, which are some of my favorite freaking headers. They may not look exactly right on that because this is Pi. These were designed back in Nougat, so the sizing might not be exactly right on it. So I don't mind. I just love the fact that I can throw on a header that I like. Your header image shadows underneath that, and then next up is QS header. Next up is going to be battery bar. They did include a battery bar on this. Thank you very much for that. Those of you that know me, you know I love running with a battery bar. Battery styles, they give you a few on here. I'd love to see 3-minute battery mod start working again, but I don't think we'll ever see 3-minute battery bar ever working again. Man, I wish it would come back, but you know, it is what it is. But I'm glad they gave us these choices. I'm running big dotted circle, battery percentage. Then you have your custom charging symbol for textile. It's just flash. You can put whatever you want on there. Actually, I'm going to go to dollar. You know, what the heck. Clock settings are up next. You can click on it to, show clock and date, or, not show your clock and date. I do have my clock centered. You have your AM, PM, show seconds, date position, date style, date format, and what I like. And here is where we start getting into what I like to refer to as the professional level. Here we are in Pi, and yet these guys give us the option to change the DPs on our clock, and they allow us to color it. I can remember reading in Dirty Unicorn's thread where they were saying that specifically they were done with coloring the clock because it was causing so many problems. And believe me, guys, I understand that. And I get it, and all ROMs are different. If you don't like one ROM, you move to the other one. With ROMs like this that I see that do allow us to color that clock, I haven't seen any issues with it. And I know where Dirty Unicorn was coming from, because people would color their clocks and then they would flash, or they would put on a theme, and then they would start having problems, and then they would go back to Dirty Unicorn, start bitching about it. And, that's out of Dirty Unicorn's hands, So, they just said, the hell with it, we're done. We're not going to allow you to color your clock. If you want to color it, throw a theme on it. So, but I'm just glad these guys do that. And just be aware that if you run a theme, you may run into some problems with that. So just be aware of that. And then last but not least is your clock font style. And again, they give us just a plethora of, choices here. Of course, my favorite is Dancing Script Bold. That's the one I like to run, Dancing Script Bold. I'm going to change that so we can see it a little better. So we're going to go with... Sorry, Bob. I know you like your Bob Blue. I'm going to go with something that really shows up. There we go. Back to the clock font. That's coming soon. One of my other favorites is Dancing Bold. I love that script look. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the coming soon so it does show up a little bit better. Okay, carrier label settings are next. Click on that. You can disable or run with a carrier label. Mine's disabled. Yeah, I'm not sure what the whole 3100 is. I'm guessing it's some kind of radio number, but it works. That's all I can say is it works. Is it going to work for you if you're on Verizon? I don't know. It might not. I'm going to go ahead and disable that. I don't want to see that up there. Custom carrier label, if you want to run with a custom carrier label, there you go, type something in. And then your carrier label font, again, they allow you to, change it to whatever you want. And I'm so glad they do that. And then carrier label color, if you want to color that, go ahead and color it. And of course, they allow you to size it as well. All right, next up is going to be your status bar logo. I'm running with extended. If I'm going to run a ROM and they're going to have a logo, I'm going to run with their logo. That way, anybody that sees my device, or if I take a screenshot or whatever, I want them to know what ROM that I'm running. So I like to run with the the extended logo, but they do give you plenty of other choices to go with. And then of course they let you select a color for that as well. I just think that kind of matches the extended logo in my mind. And that is it for the decor room. So we're going to go back into the decor room. And under themes, I'm going to go ahead and pick my clear extended. I just like the look of it. And again, guys, like I used to do my ROM reviews in the past, I want to do this with a theme on it. All right, so that takes care of that. And let's go ahead and get on with this. All right, next up is gestures. You have AOSP gestures. Swipe fingerprint for notification, jump to camera. For those of you that like to run gesture anywhere, here you go. Carbon gestures, I love carbon gestures. I like to go with the down gesture, and I'm gonna go screenshot and change the 2 to 3. And I'm going to keep it there. That way, if I run 3 fingers down, it's going to take a screenshot for me. I love carbon gestures. Of course, that's the only one I like because I don't usually like to run with gestures, but that one I definitely like. Next up, edge gestures. For those of you that have devices that you can squeeze the edge and use edge gestures, there you go. I don't like it, but I do know that a lot of you guys do, and it's good that they put that feature in here. Next up are pie gestures. You can enable pie control by clicking on this button here. It will enable all of your pie controls. So I'm going to shut that back off. But if you guys want to run it that way, go ahead and run it that way. We have our swipe up gestures. You know, if you swipe up from the nav bar, these are those gestures. Again, guys, I don't like to run gestures, but if you do, you know, have at her, have fun with it. That's what it's there for. That's why I love custom ROMs, and I hope we don't ever lose the ability to have custom ROMs on an Android device. And so far, at least for now, we have that ability to customize our phone. But Google is fighting against us, and they are trying at every turn to take away our custom features. Thank God for good developers out there that keep our phones custom. Okay, next up is going to be lock screen. We've, again, a lot of different things that you can do. You have your lock screen shortcuts. You can change it, left shortcut, right shortcut. You can hide your bottom shortcuts, which I have. Here's your shortcut click type. Lock screen weather. Yes, I have this turned on. Now, the only thing that I found that does not work, at least for me, is the custom location. No matter what I put in it, I tried Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I tried Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I tried New York, and it kept giving me the same fault. Cannot find that location. I'm just running it with you know, standard and GPS, and so far everything's working great. Lock screen UI, you can change your clock style. They have quite a few to choose from here. I'm just going with default. Looks pretty good. So if I go to the lock screen, there's the lock screen. I like that, so I'm just going to leave it right there. And if you noticed it was colored, yes, they allow us to color it too, which we're going to get into. You have your clock screen font options. I'm running Road Rage. Date font options. You have your owner info font options, which again, guys, this thing is just loaded with custom options. Owner info font options. You have your clock font size, your date font size, and your owner info font size. Lock screen colors. Just like a couple other custom ROMs out there that I know, Resurrection Remix, Cyanide, CR Droid. Again, quite a few options to choose from there. And yes, guys, I don't normally run a crazy color scheme like that, but I do that to show you what you can do with your device, not what I like to do. Okay, clock widgets up next. Okay, you can run with a clock widget if you want, or turn it off. Items underneath the clock, hide status bar, hide bottom status text, and hide lock screen icon. That takes care of the lock screen UI. Lock screen notification count if you want to run with it. I do not. And then your lock screen charging info. Yes, I like to run with that. Face unlock auto, and I haven't tried to face unlock on this, but again, from everything that I've read on the XDA thread, face unlock is working great. That is one feature of the OnePlus devices that does work, is face unlock. Okay, fingerprint unlock, fingerprint authentication, vibration. You have your media cover art, and then enable lock screen visualizer if you guys want to run with that as well. Okay, next up is going to be your smart nav bar. If you want to run with a smart nav bar, as you can see, it comes clicked on by default, but you do have your navigation mode. I'm running default. You could go smart bar or fling, and I'm not going to go ahead. I'm not going to get into the different customization features. I have many ROM reviews out there that I do cover that, so please refer back to one of those ROM reviews for that. It's just, this is going to be a long ass video as it is. For me to put that in, it's just going to really make this a long video, so I'm not going to go over that. And then of course, all the way at the bottom, you have your pulse. Next up is notifications. Heads up, thank God for them giving us the ability to shut that off. I'm running it with it off. You can turn it on if you want. They do have the dialer heads up, which is a little different. I have that shut off as well, but you guys can go ahead and run with that turned on. Notification lights, you can set up each app to either have them or not. Your battery charging lights, you can go ahead and change the look and feel of that as well. And you have noisy notifications, if screen on, force expanded notifications, and then disable immersive mode messages. Under your call notification options, you have vibrate on connect, vibrate on call waiting, vibrate on disconnect, and then blink flashlight on call, which I like that feature. I do have it on blink flashlight only in ringer mode, but I'm going to go ahead and change that to always blink flashlight whenever I get a call. I like that feature. And you have your toast menu, toast app icon color if you want to change that, and then your toast text color. Alright, power menu's up next. This is going to be where you can add or remove things from the power menu, and again, there are a plethora of options on that as well. You can change your power to reboot, menu opacity, and then power/reboot dialog dim background amount. There you go. That is another thing. You guys know me from my other ROM reviews. I use a power menu like a lot of people use their quick settings. Speaking of quick settings, they are up next. You do have quick settings, panel opacity, and then of course your setup for your quick settings. You have your rows both in portrait and landscape. I'm running 4 in portrait and 2 in landscape. Then you have your columns. I'm running 3 columns in both landscape and portrait, but you guys can change that up to however you want. Then you have your tile title, if you want it showing, and then of course small tiles, brightness slider, brightness icon, brightness button, brightness slider on bottom, information header, disable quick settings when locked. Ooh, nice breeze coming through the window right now. You do have your quick pull down. I'm running on right. You don't have to run with that at all, but these are your other options. Smart pull down, I have that on off, but again guys, if you want to run smart pull down, you can. Bluetooth battery on status bar, and then vibrate on touch, running services icon, and quick settings footer warning. Next up is going to be the recents menu. Now this is going to be where you change it if you want to run high gestures. I'm running Oreo recents. I love Oreo recents, but they give you the quick step, which is what comes by default, Oreo, and then grid, and then Android Go. I don't like Android Go. I don't like the grid. I don't like quick step. I keep it on Oreo, but these are options, guys, and I love it that they give us those options. If they didn't, I'd be running Pi recents and hate it. Okay, you have your clear all button, which they give you, and then your location. They give you the standard 6 positions that you can run. I run bottom left. You can run with a memory bar. Thank you very much for that. Then your recent styles, where you can actually customize the look of your recents. You have your button style, which they give you quite a few that you can choose from there as well. And then your custom recent style. Immersive recents are up next. I always like to run mine with full screen. That gives me that full screen effect. We have show clock, show date, and then hide apps from recents if you want to do that. Okay, next up is status bar settings. And this is going to be where you can actually show or not show what you want on your status bar. First up is status bar items. You can pick and choose what you want to show on there. Network traffic, if you want to show your network traffic, coming in or out, there you go. Use old mobile type style. If you want to do that, you have your notification ticker, and then your brightness control by running your finger across the status bar. 4G icon, which I normally click on, but since I'm running 3G, it's not doing me a bit of good anyways. Show data disabled icon, show notification count, kill app button, and then under your breathing notifications, breathing SMS, breathing missed call, or breathing voice call. And that's it for your status bar settings. Next up are going to be system settings. Under that you have your smart pixels, and then we have wake lock blocker. Guys, do not touch the wake lock blocker unless you know what you're doing. You can really screw up your device. Make a backup is all I got to say. Your alarm blocker, privacy guard, they do have privacy guard on here. Suspended actions are up next. These are your settings for that if you enable it. I don't run with suspended actions. Time and state, again, these are more geek nerdy facts to know. I like them, but most of you probably would not. Doze settings, you guys can change your doze settings if you want. Of course, this is when your device goes completely to sleep. That's why they call it doze. You can change it out however you like. Again, be very careful with that. Then you have your sensor block for package, then package And then pocket detection, I like to run with that on. ADB notification and disable forced closed notifications. Last but not least is going to be the extra options. A system app remover, be careful with that again, guys. You remove the wrong thing, you can screw up a whole ROM. You have your keyboard and IME. These are the settings for that if you guys want to run with those. We do have the app circle bar. That's an app or a feature that I love. Now, I didn't have time to set it up, but I really do like to use this, and I'm glad that they have that in there. Screenshot type. You can change your screenshot type. I just like to take standard full screen screenshots. Then you have your allow signature spoofing, wake up on charge, vibrate on plug or unplug. Under dashboard menu, we have dashboard conditions, dashboard suggestions, dashboard summaries. I have both the suggestions and summaries turned off. Use columns layout and settings main page. And then corners, where you can change the rounded radius on the corners, or change the padding on the corners, just by sliding those icons around. And then you have your legacy app scaling. For those of you that are running some legacy apps and the scaling just doesn't quite fit, and this lets you adjust some of those legacy apps. Guys, that is it for the custom settings. And when I say that's it, I mean that is a ton of freaking custom settings. It kind of reminds me of, like I said, them old school type of ROMs, and I love those kind of ROMs, guys. You know that. If you've been following me from the start, back when I started doing ROM reviews back in KitKat days, I loved it. So, under display, under font manager, this is freaking awesome. Guys, I love it when I can change my fonts around, and for them to put this many in there is just off the charts. There's got to be over 100 different font options to choose from, or close to it, maybe 50. I don't know. There's quite a bit, and I'm glad that they put them in there. I love it. I use them. I've actually got my font changed from, this is not stock, guys, and I know you can put in the comments section below how much you hate it when I do not run stock fonts, but guys, that's the way I like it. Anyways, you have your font manager, you have your font size, display size. That was the only thing I really wanted to show you, was that font manager. There's nothing different in sound, except for they do have the link, ring, and notification volumes, and you know how much I love it to be able to unlink them together, because I like to have my ringtone all the way up, and I like to have my notifications all the way down sometimes. I'm glad they put that in there. I really didn't notice anything else out of the ordinary, and that is it. I think I went over everything. Guys, what do I think of extended MSM extended? Well, as far as it goes for Pi ROMs right now, this thing's got every freaking ROM in the water blown completely out, in my book. And I'm talking about ROMs that I've tried. And of course, I don't own a OnePlus 5T, so I'm stuck with the ROMs that are either for Nexus 6P, or the ones I built for myself for my Motorola G4 Plus, or my Nexus 6. And as far as Pi ROMs go, from what I'm used to, this is the best and the most customized Pi ROM I have seen to date. Kudos to the developer for this ROM. Hats off to you, man. You've done a freaking great job. If I had this for my Nexus 6 or my Nexus 6P, I would definitely be running it as my daily driver. And you guys know how much I disdain and how much I hate Pi and Oreo. But you know the reasons I don't. You know the reasons I hate them is because of losing our custom features. And we pretty much have all of them back on this ROM. So as far as reliability, I've been running this ever since Bob sent me the phone. The first thing I did was throw extended on, because he said, hey, listen, you got to try this ROM out. And of course, when he sent me this phone, the very first ROM he said, dude, you got to check out is MSM extended. And I'm glad he did. Thank you, Bob, again for the loan of the phone, and for steering me to this ROM, because I am very impressed, to say the least. So guys, yes, I say go ahead and try this. I think you're going to like it, especially if you're like me and you love custom ROMs. Give it a shot, man. That's all I have. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button below and subscribe. I have a lot of videos out. I have a lot of other reviews out. Just look back through my videos, and I will be putting a ton more to come out. So be looking for them. Well, guys, that's all I have for now. I really appreciate you watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.